Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful middle of your week. Happy Wednesday. So, I am going to have a What Sold video for today from the days of October 8th through October 14th. So, that's the second week of October. I will start here on Poshmark. Now, as many of you know, there are some new fee kind of structured things that Poshmark is doing. I was trying to see if maybe they were gonna have it here, but I don't think so. I'm wondering if they'll do some kind of a breakdown at some point, but I think not. So the new fees help the buy or the sellers, excuse me, help the sellers and are charged to the buyer. So very similar to think like Mercari. The only difference is with Mercari, there's all of the fees and for the buyer and then no selling fees for the seller. And I believe that I've heard it's the same on Depop. I haven't sold on Depop in a while. We didn't have like a ton of luck on there. I tried to only really cross post some of our like rare items, unique vintage things. We sold, I think, a couple things, like literally a couple too. And I just don't really post on there anymore. It just didn't seem like it was worth the time. I wasn't getting much traffic. That could, of course, change in the future, but for right now, we're not. I think I heard that there was a similar thing going on Depop that they're at least trying out through the rest of the year. You'll have to let me know if I'm incorrect in that. But so Poshmark is doing something new with fees, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I did used to buy things every once in a while, every so often on Poshmark, and now they're charging the regular fee and tax, and then something called a buyer protection fee, which seems kind of silly to me. It seems like a BS term because I'm sorry, but the buyer protection was always there. And I think it's upsetting people because a lot of buyers I've seen messaging people saying, "What's this new fee?" It wasn't explained correctly to them. They don't know where to find more information about it. Or they're like, "I don't care if I have buyer protection on this. They've always offered me protection for free. So why am I having to get stuck with this new charge that I'm not asking for?" And it's pretty hefty. Like I've seen on some even smaller items like this, for instance, they're charged a pretty good amount for this buyer protection fee that used to be included in their cost. And it does give a little bit more profit to the sellers, but to me, if we're potentially losing sales, especially on lower cost items, then is it really worth the little bit of extra change we get per item? I don't think so. I am not even just here to sell as a seller. I like these platforms as a buyer and a seller, and I want a good experience for my buyers as well. And charging them ridiculously crazy high fees, that's not it, but we'll see how long it lasts because I do know that Mercari had updated things like their return policy and then gone back on it. So we'll see if this sticks around. All right. Anyway, so our first thing that sold on Poshmark was a pair of baby overalls, and these were corduroy and they were embroidered with a little L. So if I see something like that that has an initial, it's good to put the terms initial, letter, personalized, monogram, embroidered, sometimes applique, and just whatever, some things like that on there. And that those are all terms that people will look for. These did just sell for $10. After fees, $7.98. Take out our $4 cost of goods, means we profited $3.98. I'm definitely going to be restructuring, I think, our kids' items coming up. If not this year, at least after December, once the new year starts, because I have like 2.5 totes behind me of kids' things. A lot of kids' things just don't move. And if they do move, they don't move for very much. Maybe like if I have something like this here, like this is like a little Ralph Lauren outfit. It's super sweet, classic, preppy, whatever, what have you, maybe something like that, or like, obviously, like I've mentioned before, Halloween costumes always sell. So kids Halloween costumes, but just more like basic pieces. I just don't think I'm going to start carrying anymore. Next was another Vermont Country Store floral nightgown. This was a 2XT or tall, so it was plus size and tall, new without tags. And I asked my husband if he was tired of seeing all the Vermont Country Store things when he goes to do packages, and he's like, "No, we're making really good money off of those." So, like I told some of you, my mom was finding these for $1, brand new without tags at a I don't even know what kind of store to call it. It's kind of like a resale shop, kind of like a thrift store, but it's all new items. And they were selling these for $1 each. I feel like I might have heard her say they went up to $2 now or something. But regardless, $1 or $2 into 45, I will take that all day long. And we have been. These have been flying off the shelves for us. I think I have like four listed right now that haven't sold quite yet, but I have no doubts they will. And I'm not even hardly having to send offers. A lot of these are selling straight without offers. Buy it now. Sometimes I'm sending 10% offers and they're taking, I'm not having to send 20% or 30% offers. They're selling really, really well. Next was this perception top. I did get this from a friend and I had done like a clothing buyout from her. She had lost a lot of weight and was trying to get rid of some of her old clothes. So I bought everything for $1 a piece that I thought I could send to the consignment store because I barely get money from the consignment store per item. I think I'm lucky to get $1 or something each. So I just gave her $1 for the stuff I thought would sell at consignment and like $2 if I thought it would sell on online. And so this I probably paid $1 to $2 for. I was gonna keep it, but it just didn't fit me quite right. And so it eventually sold for $10. Again, 7.98, so we profited 3.98 off of it. Well, because the average cost of goods being four. So even if I pay $1 or $2, I still consider it a $4 item. These Page mid-rise cropped straight jeans sold for 28. I realized I'd say maybe about a week or sometime last week that I hadn't done a waterfall sale in a while. And usually I do those on the first of the month, but this being quarter 4, I think maybe it just skipped my mind. And so I didn't really do one at the start of October or maybe even the end of September. I don't think I did. So I did like a little quickie waterfall sale. I only went, I believe, to 20% off and these sold on that waterfall sale. True Religion jeans, it sold for $35. Like I mentioned before, I'm not going to pick up every True Religion jean. Probably they'd have to be in really good condition and maybe a bigger size. These were black, and those showed in comps that those sold better than just regular blue jeans. The American Eagle baggy wide leg purple jeans that I just had in one of my recent haul videos that I picked up when I was thrifting all day with my mom. These were plus size 18 and they sold for $25. I think I had these for about 30, but I accepted a little bit of a lower offer just because kind of like how I had to start doing with Mercari, now that they're charging buyers all these crazy high fees, they're not going to want to pay the higher prices for the item themselves. So I'm willing to take a little bit of lower offers. Then one of the anime sweatshirts that we had, or long sleeve shirts, sold. These I had gotten in the one of the bins in Goodwill, which they charge like right under $2 for. And some company had donated a bunch of brand new without tags anime shirts, men's anime shirts, I'm guessing. I guess they could be unisex. And I picked up a lot of them and went back the next day and got even more. This was one of them and it sold for 15. This LL Bean men's fleece kind of jacket. So this was something we had to measure for size. It did not have a size tag in it. It was an older piece and it had the tag had kind of worn away from washing. So I'm just hoping everything goes well with it. I did mention that there was no size tag to it was estimated to be an extra large according to the LL Bean size chart online that I found. But I always say, but please see measurements for best sizing idea or best fit idea. And then lastly was this rag and bone silk shirt. I think this was the only rag and bone thing. No, I feel like maybe we've found like some shorts or jeans or something before. But this was something that a really sweet lady found for us at Goodwill, and she came up to us and said, "Are you guys resellers?" She could probably just tell from what we were like our conversations my husband and I were having. And she was like, so we were discussing some reselling stuff, and she said, "Well, I don't do clothing, but I know this is a good brand, so I want you guys to have this." And she found it. And so their tops are like 349 or something, but so, average cost a good four, and it sold for $40. So thank you to that lady. That was all for Poshmark. And so last week, the second week of October for Poshmark, we made a profit of $166.82. So very close to the first week. $166.82. Now moving on to eBay. This cute torrid skirt, it was new with tags and it sold on eBay for $25. I believe that was just a straight buy. No offers were sent. And this is something I had bought when I worked at Torrid and I never ended up wearing it. Never found the occasion, but it is super cute. And let's see, after fees. Oh, the reason this is a little higher than it should be is because this has not gotten shipped yet. We're a little behind on shipping. So the shipping fee right here, $5.93 that the buyer paid, will come out of this. But I did take that into account when I did the calculations. So this sold for 25, and then these haven't been shipped yet. This was a pair of Christmas pajama pants that are Disney, and these I got at Aldi last year when they were having a sale. These sold for $13.50. A Life is Good men's shirt. This was long sleeves, new with tags, size large, and it sold for 18. This was from Marshalls, and I feel like it was only a few bucks, just a few dollars, like on clearance or something there. Soft surrounding pants, got these at Goodwill, so like $4. These sold for 21. A Manhattan Toys bear. So my son ended up getting some of these. My first baby boy got these before he was born. There was this, a hedgehog, and I think maybe a turtle. The hedgehog is already sold, and then this sold, but they were new with tags, and I figured Manhattan Toys seemed like it did pretty decent, so I wanted to just put them up here. I can't remember how much the hedgehog sold for. I think about the same, and this sold for 13. And lastly was a tunic. This came out of my own closet, so I wasn't looking to get much, just wanted to see if I could get something for it before I donated it, and it sold for $10. So our grand total for the second week of October on eBay was $57.60. Definitely not very much. We had some lower cost items on there, but I was happy to at least get that. And then lastly, we did sell two things on Mercari the second week of October, and that was this plus size chambray lyocell skirt, which that's like the tencel, so it looks denim, but it's not. It's super soft. Another personal item, so wasn't expecting much for it. Sold for $10, but we did get to keep all of that since it is Mercari. And the last item, a Gymboree alphabet little outfit for a baby. This was in, I think, another one of my hauls recently, and this sold for 17. It was new with tags. Definitely keep an eye out for that Gymboree, guys, because it sells well. It sells for a good amount, especially the vintage Gymboree. And on Mercari, we profited $19, which means that our total profit for the second week of October through all three platforms was $243.42. Combined with the first week of October, that means in the first half of October, the first 2 weeks, we've profited $542.27, which means we are over halfway to our $1,000 goal for the month. So very exciting. I hope you guys are having great sales as well. Please feel free to share any really good bolos or any good sales you've had in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.